Now we have to study the third determinant of supply, that is T. T here means technology. Right, T in case of demand means taste and preference, while here it means the technology used by the firm. So again we have two type of technology, old technology, or you can call it as orthodox or traditional technology, and a modern technology. If the firm is using old technique, old technology of production, then the supply would be less. While for a firm using a modern technique of production, modern technology, supply would be more. Right? Then after this we have the fourth determinant of supply, that is the input cost. Input cost. Input you already know, the factor of production, right? So input cost is also an important determinant of the supply of a particular firm, because input cost always determines or it affects your profit or the margin of your profit. So if there is a rise in input cost, then your profit margin will decrease. So the supply also falls. While if there is a fall in the input price, profit rises, thus supply also rises. You can simply understand, take the example for the wages. If the wage rate increases, the profit of the producer will decrease and he would be ready to offer lesser goods for sale. While in case of fall in the wage rate, the profit of the entrepreneur will rise or the producer will rise, and he will be willing to supply more units of the particular good, or he will be supplying more units. Then next determinant is GP, stands for the government policy. A government can have two types of policies for your product, say favorable or unfavorable. A favorable policy means for your product there are less taxes or there are certain subsidies. Unfavorable policy means where there are high taxes on the commodity which you are producing and there are no subsidies. Okay, like you can simply understand this. A government will have a favorable policy for the commodity which it wants to promote in the economy. Say like for example for the LPG, it provides a subsidy on it. While for unfavorable commodities like alcohol or cigarette, government charges a higher tax from the producers of these commodities because they are harmful for the economy. So if the government has a favorable policy for your product, your supply would be more or your supply would rise. While if the government has unfavorable policy for your product, your supply will fall, or you can say rise and fall, or more or less, right? So whenever you have to explain this sort of this particular determinant, you first explain what is favorable and unfavorable policy in a single sentence, and then you just write that if the policy is favorable, supply would be more, and if the policy is unfavorable, supply would be less. Then the next determinant is G, that is the goal of the firm. See, again this particular determinant is to be understood with a little bit of care. Just understand that a firm can have two type of goals, or the firm can follow two goals. One is sales maximization and one is profit maximization, right? Just take an example. Suppose I am teaching say 10 students and taking a fees of say 800 from them, then I earn 8,000. Or if I am teaching only one student and taking 8,000 from him, in both the cases overall income remains the same. But in one case supply is 10 units and in one case supply is only 1 unit. You can also take the example of Maruti and Mercedes. See, obviously Mercedes is sold less than the Maruti cars, right? Maruti is selling more number of cars, while Mercedes is selling less number of cars. But still, Mercedes, if you talk about, it's a larger brand, larger name than the Maruti. So it means that whether you follow sales maximization or you follow profit maximization, the profit can be maximized, right? There is no problem in following any goal. A firm may follow sales maximization or a profit maximization. So overall, you should know that both goals are similar, right? But only the difference is that for the sales maximizing firm, the supply is high because it is selling at a lower price, so it has to sell more units, right? Like for earning the profit of say 50 lakhs, Maruti may have to sell say 100 units, 100 cars. But Mercedes can earn 50 lakh only by selling say 20 cars or 30 cars. So you can say the supply would be less. So you have to explain this particular, when this determinant is asked, you will explain the what is sales maximization, what is profit maximization. Under sales maximization, simply you can write where the price is low and supply is high, and profit maximization where the price is high and supply is low. You can simply write this, and then you can tell that if the firm has a goal of sale maximization, supply is high, and if the firm has a goal of profit maximization, supply may be less. Okay, then the last determinant which affects the supply of a commodity is the expectation regarding future price. Again, it is similar to demand, but this time you have to think from the point of view of the seller. This means that what a seller expects, what a producer expects regarding the price of the commodity in near future. So you can have two expectations. One, that there would be a rise in the near future in the prices of the commodity, and second, there would be a fall in the price of the commodities in near future. So if he feels that there will be a rise in the price of the commodity in the future, what would he do? He would sell less quantities at this particular point of time and more quantities can be stocked. So it means in present the supply would be less at present. While in case of expectation of fall in the prices, like you have seen, when the winter is approaching, the summer clothes are sold at a lower price, because the sellers know that in the future the buyer will not pay a higher price for them. So if he expects that there will be a fall in the price, then supply would be more, because he would also like to sell away the remaining stocks with him, so that he can earn maximum profit at this point of time. Simple explanation regarding this. Okay, now after understanding the various determinants of supply, we have to understand the changes in supply. Remember, as we had done the changes in demand, movement and shift. Similarly, here also we have two types of changes, movement and shift. First type of change is the movement. Second is the shift in supply curve. As you know, movement is the change due to the changes in price and other factors remaining constant. Shift is due to the changes in other factors, while the price remaining same. Right? Then you also know that there are two types of movements. contraction and expansion and two type of shift, that is rightward and leftward. Now we first study the movement part in detail. Okay, so the movement is of two types, and you remember that in movement we use the word change in quantity supplied or quantity demanded, and in shift we use the words change in supply or change in demand. Okay, quantity demanded or quantity supplied is used only for the movement. So we have two sort of movements, two type of movements, expansion and contraction, also known as extension or increase in quantity supplied, also known as decrease in quantity supplied, also known as upward movement, also known as downward movement. See, we have already discussed this concept when we were discussing about the demand, expansion, contraction. It is a similar thing, but here expansion takes place when there is a rise in price, and contraction takes place when there is a fall in price, because there is a direct relation between supply and price. So if you want to define expansion, you will define it as it is a rise in the quantity supplied due to rise in price. Definition remains the same for extension or increase in quantity supplied or upward movement. Or it may also be asked the other way around, that what leads to increase in quantity supplied or what leads to expansion in supply. You should know it is the rise in price, only one cause. Then contraction can be